Yo, what's up? Happy Super Bowl Sunday. So at the time I'm recording, Super Bowl was over. I watched the whole game, halftime show. Chiefs came out on top, 38-35. I'm happy about that. Happy about my boy Patrick Mahomes. He gets his second ring, and he's also Super Bowl MVP. I'm just gonna do a little recap video for you. Um, I guess we'll start with the most current thing on everyone's mind. If you watch the game, there was a defensive holding call. Um, I believe it was third. I believe it was third down. Yeah, it was third down, and it would have forced the Chiefs to kick the field goal earlier. Um, it was a bad call. It wasn't enough there to warrant a defensive pass, a defensive holding. Um, but it is what it is, man. As Pacheco took that run, or was it Pacheco? It was somebody. They took the run, and he got to the two, and he slid. And my brother, I was watching the game with him, and he was like, "Well, why don't y'all just push him into the end zone? Why would you just stand there and watch him run and slide and get into the position?" And I was thinking, yeah, that's a smart move because they allow you to push guys into the end zone. It counts as forward progress. Um, you could have pushed them in, made them score, give you a chance. You would have had a timeout left, I believe, to go down and try to score. You never know what it could happen. But they made the call. The rest is history. Now I was a little concerned because Butker that he had missed that 42-yard field goal early in the game, and I was like, I don't know. Do you put the game? In my opinion, I go down and score. If they let you score, they let you score. Go, let them score and play defense and make them have to go 75, 80 yards to score the touchdown and tie the game. That's how I play it. I wouldn't put all that. I wouldn't put the entire season on the kicker unless it's absolutely necessary. That's not a necessary time to bring out the kicker. You could have scored a touchdown and played defense. Your defense, the Chiefs' defense actually played very well in the second half. The Eagles' offense got very. I don't know. They weren't going back to their strengths because the first half, it's very run heavy, time possession, hit them with the deep balls. And they got a lot of them deep balls in the first quarter, man. It was ridiculous. Chiefs tightened up. Mahomes had a good, I can't say good performance, only because he had three touchdowns, but I think he didn't even have 20 yards of passing. But that's because of the offense was on the field for the Eagles for so long. You know, I think the time of possession. I think it was like I think the Eagles were closer to 40 minutes. I think for the whole game. Um, so that's why if you look at the stat sheets are very misleading. Because I know Hurts had three touchdowns, or four. He had four total, three on the ground. He had like 300 yards passing as well, 100 yards rushing. So he did what he had to do. I just think the play calling in the second half form changed. I don't know why. You just continue to do what you're doing. Um, there was one thing every time it was third and short or specifically fourth and one. It was third and one or fourth and one. They always run the QB sneak. It was unstoppable. My brother was like, he's like, he's like every time they got, he's like undefeated, never lost. I'm like, yeah, is it? They weren't stop. The Chiefs could do nothing to stop that play. Every time it was third and one, third and inches, fourth and one, you already know they were going to run a QB sneak, and it always worked. You know what I mean? There was also the call. I think was it the third quarter. I think it was the third quarter that pass on the right side. Hurts threw it to I think it was Brown. He threw it to somebody and it was on the sideline. No, it was a Dallas. It was a Dallas Goddard catch. That was one. I didn't like what the Chiefs did. Andy Reid threw the challenge flag. I don't. He waited. That was the third quarter. I don't know why he threw that. You weren't going to win that challenge. He clearly caught it. You lost the timeout for nothing. That could have came back and bit you in the butt. Luckily, it didn't. Um, and then there was another catch in the game. Hurts hit. I think this was the one to Brown. It was it was a play. I think it was a play. If he had caught it, it'd have been like inside the 2 yard line or something like that. And I think they overturned it. And I think that should have been a catch. But they overturned it. Um, yeah, but I mean, other than that, it was a pretty well officiated game. In my opinion, I thought that hit fumble, I thought that was a catch. Everyone thought it was a incomplete. I thought it was a catch. He caught the ball. He faced upfield. He got hit. He fumbled. But yeah, what can you do? Yeah, other than that, it was a pretty good high scoring game. I was a little concerned about Mahomes because the way when he went down, it was the same way he went down in the divisional game. But he seemed like he was really in pain when he went down. Like I think he was more in pain this time than the first time he got hurt, and that was very concerning for me. Um, but then I realized they had like a minute left in the second, and then he had halftime. And luckily, the halftime shows for the Super Bowl are much longer than a normal halftime show, so that gave him a little bit more time, to do some more recovery, try to get up to snuff, and get that ankle right. And he played fine. He was able to, at the end of the game, that run, pretty much set him up to get in the red zone and pretty much win the game from there. Jalen Hurts played amazing. So Mahomes won the Super Bowl MVP. Me personally, I think Hurts had a better game. I think they should have gave the trophy to Hurts. I know he's on the losing team. I was watching the game, and my dad and my brother were like, "Why would you give it to the guy on the losing team?" I'm like, "But it's the Super Bowl MVP. It's the best player of the Super Bowl. That's what MVP, most valuable player. That was Jalen Hurts today. Jalen Hurts put that team on his back. He had 3 rushing touchdowns. He tied Terrell Davis for most rushing touchdowns in the game. He had 300 yards passing. He had another one through the air. He did everything he could do to win that game. And I know, I guess for some people, they're like, well, they didn't lose. I mean, they didn't win. True, they didn't win. But individually, he had a really great game. He had a historic performance. I think he should have got MVP. Um, that also goes with saying now that Mahomes has his championship, he has the second championship. He has 2 in 4 years. Hopefully, with this win, they will dramatically ease off him because after he won that first Super Bowl, you always have your skeptics, because a lot of guys win one Super Bowl and never get back, or they don't win again, or you know you always question their legacy. Like they did that, they're doing that with Rodgers now. They were doing that with Breeze. They always bring it up when you win one. Oh, can you win that second one and cement your legacy? Because a lot of dudes, like I said, a lot of guys win one Super Bowl. A lot of guys don't get back and win a second. Like Brett Favre for years, they were talking about, is he ever going to get back and win that Super Bowl? He had his chance with Minnesota, and that was the year the Saints won the bowl. You know what I'm saying? Rodgers had never been back to the Super Bowl since he won. Breeze never got back to the Super Bowl. So it's hard, man. So this cements his legacy. It also makes him the third quarterback ever to win two Super Bowls and 2 MVPs. Him, Tom Brady, and Joe Montana. That's historic company. There's also, now that gets that monkey off his back of like, oh, I've done it once, I've done it twice. There's really no more pressure. If he never wins another Super Bowl, you can't say he's not elite. You can't say he's not one of the greatest. With all his passing yards, I think the way Mahomes is going, I think Mahomes may be the best chance to even touch Brady's records. to be fair, to be real. I mean, at worst, he'll probably pass over Drew Brees. Some of them records he'll probably push Drew Brees to like third in some of those records, like passing yards and passing touchdowns. Um, what else? When it comes to Hurts, Jalen Hurts, I was that this Super Bowl conflicted me because I wanted Mahomes to win. Cause I love Patrick Mahomes. He's my favorite quarterback in the league. I love him. I love Derek Carr. I love Heineke. I know somebody out there. You like Taylor Heineke? I like Taylor Heineke. He's my boy. Um, I like Josh Allen. I love Joe Burrow. I love Joe Burrow. That's my man. Joe Burrow is my freaking channel icon. If y'all don't know, if you looked at my icon and you're like, what is that icon? That's a picture from when he won the national championship at LSU. So that's obviously. So I need Joe Burrow to get back so he can get him one for Cincinnati finally. But yeah, for Hurts though, because of his play style, that was one thing I was concerned about. Would he be able to throw enough to offset what the Chiefs do? Because if you get into like I said, if you get into a shootout, you can't. You not. I don't think there's ever been a shootout that I can think of where you can actually win a shootout running the ball as aggressively and as often as they do with the running backs and the quarterback runs, the design runs they got for them. And I'm hoping because now people are going to speculate. They're going to be like, "Oh, it's Hurts for real? Is he really the future of the Eagles?" Yes, he's the future of the Eagles. All right, don't get that twisted. Now it's going to be a lot harder now because everyone in the NFC is going to be coming for him. Now they gotta run the table. They gotta reset. They gotta do this all over again. Sorry, they got to do it all over again come September and try to run this back, and it's very hard. That's one thing my dad said when he was like, how long? Because it was something. It was the play. It was the play when they ran the ring around the rosy thing, which it's so silly. But I was like, my dad got upset. I was like, what is this? He's like, he had this thing because he's a big football guy. He's a coach. He's always like, a lot of these teams they get into the red zone and they run what he likes to say. They start trying to run cute shit, which basically, if you don't understand what that means, is when they see into the red zone, they overthink and start running plays that are too complicated instead of just making it simple to get into the end zone. You're 2 yards away. You're doing too much to try to get into the end zone. That's basically what he'd always say. And I was like to him, well, Dad, they're just having fun, man. You got to have some fun. It's a Super Bowl. And he's like, you know how long it takes to get to the Super Bowl? And I made a joke. I said it jokingly. I kind of was. And I was like, it takes 21 weeks, because you got 17 weeks. Well, I guess 22 weeks, I guess, depending on how many games you play in the playoffs. He's like, yeah, but you know how long these guys have been playing? They've been waiting their whole life to get it. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's true. You wait your whole life to get to the pro. You know what I mean? That's the thing I like about the one thing about football that's different from basketball. There's no shade to these guys, but the thing about the difference between football and basketball, I think football teaches you a lot more patience because in order to get to the NFL, you have to be at least most guys are like 21 because you have to be 3 years removed from college. So that you can as long as you've done 3 years of college, doesn't matter if you're redshirt or not, you can go to the league. So let's say you luck out and you go to a great team and you get to the Super Bowl at 22, right? That's very different from the NBA because the NBA, there's so many hurdles and shortcuts that you can avoid and take, right, to get to the league. You can graduate high school, play overseas for a year, come back, get drafted, and say you go to a great team, excuse me, and you end up in the NBA Finals at 19. But that's a big mental gap between 19 in 22. You know what I'm saying? And it also teaches you appreciating things because football is a very demanding sport. It's a very violent sport. There were some hits in this game today. Very hard hitting, very good, clean, hard hits, which I love to see. But then the thing about football, football teaches you patience and also teaches you it gives you a level of like self awareness and self reflection because you got to understand the way football players one bad injury could end your career at any point. We seen it a few weeks back with Damar Hamlin. We've seen Alex Smith, Joe Theismann, a lot of guys, man. They gruesome hits, or even like just lingering injury that take a toll on you, just prematurely end your career. You know what I'm saying? NBA is different, especially the way the NBA is structured. Like a lot of these guys, they get paid and don't even play. It's like Zion. I think I got a notification today. He re-aggravated whatever injury he just finished having or was trying to get over. So he's going to miss some more weeks, but he's still getting top dollar pay. Ben Simmons getting top dollar pay. Kevin, Kyrie, Kawhi. Why they all have K? They're all getting top dollars to play. And it's a real. You're giving a lot of money to a really, really young person. 22 is young, but there's a big difference between coming straight out of high school and getting $40 million and having to work and grind through college and get $40 million. There's a big difference. People don't think it's a big difference. That's a big difference mentally. It's a big difference. Even physically, that's a big difference. Even if you like equate it to like a power forward, a 19-year-old power forward and a 22-year-old wide receiver, a tight end. They got similar builds, but that guy that came out of college has went through so much more wear and tear on his body than the guy at 19 with the same build who's playing basketball. Because basketball is not as physical. It's not saying it's soft, but one sport you get to tackle and hit people. The other you can't. You know what I mean? So, how did I go down this? How did I get to this? How did I get to this point? What the fuck? Hold up. What the fuck? What? Yeah. What the hell? What? What the fuck? What? Okay, whatever. I don't know what that was. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. There was something. Something was crawling on my bed. I don't know what that was. But anyway, how did I get on the tangent? The patience thing. Yeah, football guys in football. It was a thing about the all your life thing. Basically, how long it takes to get to the Super Bowl because it's very hard to get to this level, and then, you have to, you get to the ultimate goal to get to the Super Bowl and win it. But when you don't win it, you have to do it all over again, and it's not guaranteed. We see a lot of dudes. Russell Wilson, perfect example. He got to that second one. He was 2-3 yards away from back-to-back Super Bowls. We don't know what his career would have been like with 2 Super Bowls. You know what I mean? Cam Newton, he had he had his game in the Super Bowl. He got that weird play that happened, and he never went back. And his career kind of after he got to the mountaintop, and he went down, and it is what it is. A lot of stuff happened, man. It's hard. Dan Marino, perfect example. Everyone was like, "Oh, well, he'll get back. He's so talented." You know what I mean? And he played 16, 17 years, and never. I don't think he ever sniffed the Super Bowl after that. So this stuff is not guaranteed. So my thing is, I hope they don't go into the off season. They're going to keep talking about, well, it hurts the guy, you know. And then when you don't win the Super Bowl, they like to pick on your flaws, right? My only issue is with him is he doesn't throw the ball. He doesn't throw the ball enough where he's a legitimate passing threat. He can throw, like I said, he had 300 yards. He had 300 yards passing, but a lot of that's because he has those great receivers. And the secondary for let's say Cincinnati, for uh for Kansas City, man, they were getting torched on a lot of plays. A couple drops here and there, and could be a different game. You know what I mean? I just hope they don't go through that. And then what's going to happen is they're not going to the season they had this year. They're not going to have next year. That's very hard to replicate, even with like Cincinnati. Even though, in my opinion, I think Cincinnati had a better season this year um, than they did the year they went to the Super Bowl. That's just me. So yeah, and yeah, I think that's it. I guess I'm talking about the halftime show. The halftime show was, it was cool. It was nice to, hear Rihanna. I don't listen too much Rihanna like I used to. I was never. I mean, I like her music, um, but I'm one of them people where um, I'm not really a guy that goes looking for people's. Let me. I don't usually go searching for people's music who I know of, unless it's like I heard in like a video or someone points it out to me or someone recommends it. Um, like last year, I did a video on Logic. He had an album that came out last year. And I did a review for it, and if I hadn't opened up my Pandora that day, um, I may not have seen it on the front page of it. Yeah, I wouldn't have known he had a freaking album. You know what I mean? So I think those switch out like every so often. It's not they don't highlight the same albums and singles that come out every day. So if you don't see it one day, I don't think it shows up the next or something like that. But yeah, I wouldn't have known. Like with Rihanna, I like her music, but I'm not a person that goes searching for it. Like somebody plays some Rihanna, then I'm like, okay, well, I bet play some Rihanna. But I'm not a person that goes looking for. I don't listen to Rihanna like that. You know what I mean? Her old, like a lot of her old stuff. If it comes on, okay, yeah. Because but y'all got to remember when Rihanna first came out, radio stations were still a really big thing. So if it was in the car or on the school bus, yeah, cause if you didn't know, some bus drivers or school bus drivers, they would play the radio on their bus. Um, and back in the day, like that's how I got exposed to a lot of my music, the radio and MTV, VH1, BET, MTV Jams, MTV2, which one, VH1 Soul. Um, just a lot, I had a lot of different avenues. Music nowadays, unless I hear it in like a movie or a TV show or some video on YouTube or Instagram, or like an anime. That's the main way I get all my music nowadays. But yeah, it was a good show. My brother brought up the point. It was more like a mix. It wasn't really a concert. It was more like a mix of her like greatest hits. I mean, it was cool. The choreography, dance was cool. He brought a point like, oh, I know why she dressed like that. She's pretty. Like, yeah, bro, you late. You late, dude. Like, you ain't know that. But yeah, it was a cool show. I like how it ended with the fireworks. At the end, it's cool. Um, it's definitely not the greatest halftime show I've ever seen in my life. For me, I really don't care about the halftime show that often. But if you got someone I know of and they got good music and you play it, I'll stick. We watched the whole halftime show. We watched the whole game from beginning to end. So my dad wanted to see the halftime show more than either of us. But yeah, that's about it. That's my recap of Super Bowl. Uh, what Super Bowl is this? Super Bowl something with some Roman numerals next to it. Yeah, Chiefs win 38-35. Very great game, competitive game. Shouts out to Mahomes for getting his second ring, so he can finally cement his legacy. Because I think they say he was the 14th quarterback in league history. You got to understand how many quarterbacks have been in the league that actually started. I'm not talking about like you start a game or two here and there like a backup. I'm talking about in the history of the league, the amount of guys that have played significant games and snaps. Even the guy that won Super Bowl before that, he's got two already, and he's only 27, so he's got plenty more to come. You know what I'm saying? And it also helps with that contract that he signed because now it makes the contract he signed look more legit. He has multiple Super Bowls at a young age. You still got more years down the line in that contract, and it makes it look like it was worth the putting their chips in that basket. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to Jalen Hurts. I believe they'll get back because the NFC, real talk, it's kind of a mess. It's real. Other than them, I guess you got the Cowboy, but that all comes down to Dak. The Giants, I don't think the Giants are truly legit. You say got San Francisco, but now it's a quarterback issue. We don't know what they're going to do. Seattle, I think Seattle will get back next year to the playoffs. I don't think they'll win a game. I hope for Geno. I hope Geno Smith stays and starts next year and gets his playoff victory, man, because he deserves it. Who else? Like I get Brady's gone, so Tampa Bay's gone. The Vikings are frauds. They're frauds, man. And yes, I mean they have a really good shot at getting back. Really, they play in the NFC East. The NFC East was the best division this year. Everyone's going to get better, obviously. Even my team, the Commanders, will get better. I still think they're just a little bit. They're a little bit better than the Cowboys right now. Until Dak proves he can play at an elite level, and because he had turnovers, I think he had like let's say he had like 25 interceptions. And he only played like he played like 12 games this year. I think 12, 13 games. He didn't play the whole season. He almost had 25 interceptions. That is bad. He has to fix that. I mean, I hope he doesn't fix it for my sake, but that's something he has to fix if he wants to win. Anyway, that's my recap. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the recap. Hope you enjoyed the game. If you watched it, if you just watched it for the commercials, hope you watched the commercials. There was nothing really other than the Snoop Dogg commercial. That was funny, and it was the Jesus commercial. And me and my dad and my brother, we had a hilarious laugh at that video. If you watched I think it was the first or second Jesus commercial they did with the little boy. He was standing on the other little boy at the urinal. We just had a whole hoot at that. That was really funny. It shouldn't have been funny. I understand the message of the video, but that was a weird thing to put in there to get your point across. But I got it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the NFL season. I hope it was good to you. Hopefully, if you're a Chiefs fan, you were happy. If you're a Philly fan, you was happy. If you're a Cowboys fan, if you're a Cowboys fan, I don't care. I'm glad you didn't get it to the boy. We'd have never heard the end of it if y'all won the Super Bowl this year. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.